Good afternoon. I'm meteorologist Chris Dunn. Tracking our first significant surge of the monsoon. We do have some action north of the valley. In the valley, a little bit later on, some of these storms will start to move in. A flash flood warning and a severe thunderstorm warning in Yavapai County. This is just south of the Dewey-Humboldt area and southeast of Prescott. Some heavy rain just to the east of Flagstaff in the Munns Park area. Heavy thunderstorms in the White Mountains, and this action will move into the valley a little bit later on. Keep it with 12 News for the very latest on Monsoon 2025. Significant surge of monsoon 2025 and a weather impact alert in effect for basically all of the state of Arizona. We do have one active severe thunderstorm warning in Yavapai County. This is just to the south of the Dewey-Humboldt area and southeast of Prescott. You can see this boxed off area right here is our severe thunderstorm warning and a flash flood warning with a considerable threat that goes until 4:30 this afternoon for the red box area right in here. This is southeast of Prescott, just south of Dewey and Humboldt, and all of this is to the west of I-17. So we're getting some of that training effect, some very heavy rain moving over the same area time and time again, and it's putting down a lot of rain in a short amount of time. The same thing is happening east of Flagstaff along Interstate 40. This would be in the Munns Park area, a flood advisory in effect, just kind of a step below a flash flood warning. And occasionally you see those little flashes of white in the radar imagery. That's actually some hail showing up on the radar. So there has been some small hail included with some of these thunderstorms developing mainly in the high country so far and across far southern Arizona. Flood advisory in effect for portions of the White Mountains. This is Show Low to Heber and just south of Holbrook. And you can see some very heavy rain and an awful lot of lightning. These storms are really sparky in the higher terrain for the White Mountains. And then we travel down to the south in southern Arizona, Pima County. This is Tucson right here, just south of Tucson. Severe thunderstorm warning that goes until 3:15 this afternoon. Gusty winds, really strong gusty winds because the lower levels of the atmosphere are a little bit drier. So when that rain falls through the dry air, it cools through evaporation and it gets really heavy, negatively buoyant, so to speak. And so it rushes to the ground. We'll also likely see some large areas of blowing dust with this action here across southern Arizona and a blowing dust advisory in effect until 7 o'clock on Wednesday, kind of in anticipation of these storms when they bubble up and then they collapse and come back down, and we'll send a rush of wind down to the desert floor. It kicks up a lot of dust. And in these types of situations, it's been my experience that in these storms, as they start to propagate northward past Eloy and Casa Grande, there's a lot of open desert down here south of Coolidge and Florence. And so we'll see a lot of dust being kicked up across Pinal County, perhaps moving into the southeast valley. We're looking at about 5, 6, 7 o'clock this evening for just the leading edge of some of this stuff. So it's going to be a little bit later as opposed to earlier for some of those storms moving through. This is a look at Tucson for the University of Arizona. The Catalina Mountains off in the distance and some of those dark storm clouds really descending upon Tucson as we speak. This is the East Valley, Superstition Mountains there in the distance, and some of those big billowing clouds signifying that we do have some cumulus buildups. There's sufficient moisture in the air. Our dew points are in the 50s in the valley right now, and so that's providing fuel for these thunderstorms. And where it has been raining, it really has an impact on temperatures. For example, 108 in Phoenix, but Flagstaff is only 58 degrees right now. 77 in Payson, 86 in Globe, but 63 in Show Low. The heavy rain risk, the outlook for today, a moderate risk for heavy rain, possible flooding extends from just west of Flagstaff, and we're already seeing pockets of that right now, back to the White Mountains and down into southeastern Arizona. Just a slight risk for heavy rain that covers through the valley along I-10 and north through Lake Havasu City, Bullhead City, and up towards Las Vegas. In southwestern Arizona, the Yuma area, not getting much at all. Our monsoon meter for the valley today is a 2, a 1 for western Arizona, but higher numbers, much higher numbers across the north and across the high country and down into southeastern Arizona. That's what we're finding right now. This is an early look at our Futurecast model to show you how things are going to play out. This is 2:30 this afternoon. We're going to run it through. We'll stop it at 4. We can start to see some development down here to the south, pushing through the valley. I do think it's going to be about 5, 6, 7 o'clock before things will really get going for the valley, and then possibly until about midnight or so, and then things will tend to settle down a little bit. Isolated little spots of rain possible through mainly the morning hours on Thursday, as we have everything is moving from west to east. This is a drier wind flow direction for us, so we'll tap into some dry air off the coast of California, and that will sweep across the area. And Friday and Saturday will be totally different days across the Valley of the Sun and across the rest of the state of Arizona. So we do have a weather impact alert for the state of Arizona that goes through the rest of this evening because of the storm potential that we're finding out there right now. Storms are popping up, firing up along the high country. Yavapai County, Coconino County have already had some warnings, and into Navajo and Apache counties as well. Some of that action will eventually make its way down into the valley. Of course, we will be here tracking it all afternoon, all evening, every step of the way for you. Keep it here on 12 Plus and also on 12 News at 4, 5, 6, and 10 o'clock tonight. I'm meteorologist Chris Dunn.